Getting diagnosed and hearing the word cancer is just the biggest rocking to the boat that somebody can get.
And to my teenage self, what was almost worse than the chemo was the feeling that I was totally alone.
I think the isolation comes right when you hear the word cancer.
As a teenager, young adult, at that age, you're already trying to figure out who you are, your identity. And I think that cancer can have an effect on that.
You're finding your own independence and boom, you have to depend on everyone again.
You know, we're not quite children anymore. We're not fully on our own as adults.
You're barely starting your life of going on to figuring out what you're going to be, what you're going to do.
You're a teenager, you want to be with your friends and you want to be outside, you don't want to be at home. And then you get sick and you're in the hospital.
Getting cancer as a teen is especially hard because you're kind of in that pivotal moment in your life. You know, as a girl, you want to talk about like boys and who's going to ask me to the dance or what am I going to wear to my first day of school, those kind of things. And having cancer kind of like took that away from me, and the questions that I was asking was, how are people going to treat me in a wheelchair at school? Are kids not going to want to hang out with me? Do you think I'm weird? Seeing someone, without a leg, like, I don't know.
They were worried about pimples and proms, and I was worried about methotrexate and chemo.
And so this feeling of loneliness and isolation and knowing that maybe there's a possibility that I wouldn't make it through the next 6 months or year, it's very hard on a teenage girl or any person.
I think it's important that there's an age-targeted approach to the cancer movement.
We have schools, we have colleges, sports clubs, youth groups that all cater to young people. How come we don't have hospitals that cater to young people?
We're basically identified as either adults or kids. And we're not nor adults nor kids,
I wanted to be a teen. Even though I was dealing with cancer and I was going through cancer.
I'd be pissed if I was 20 in a pediatrics and kids yelling and crying and...
I have a friend who was 6'7" in a children's ward, and they had to put an extension on his bed so that he could fit in it. That made me so angry.
And there needs to be research specifically geared for teenagers and young adults.
Some of the drugs they give us have never even been tested on young people, and doctors have to guess how much to give us. It can't go on like that.
You hear stories from your friends about teenager stuff that's going on in their everyday lives, and not only are you detached from that, but then when you go into what is your life, which is going through chemotherapy and going to the hospital and staying home and cleaning different medical devices and stuff, you feel like you're not really part of that either. So you are kind of in this search for, where do I go, where do I belong, where can I fit in? That's where having an environment that caters to that is so vital.
Teen Cancer America wants to ensure that every young person in the US has access to specialist cancer facilities, specialist teams focusing on their unique needs and on improving their outcomes and their survival.
We think we're alone, so we need to know that people are out there supporting us, because that support gives us strength to survive.